Now, the Yankees are trying to do something that no one has done to the Orioles and win a series as American League East team. The last team to do it was last April, the Yankees. So the Orioles have not lost a series to an AL East team. Now, there's a little drama attached to yesterday, which we have to get into. The Yankees dodged a real big bullet. At this point, that's what you have to believe. You know, Aaron Judge got hit, left hand, right around the pinky, stayed in to play defense, stayed in and run, but then when it came time to hit, he got pinch hit for by Trent Grisham. You're thinking the worst because he looked like he was in a lot of pain. He got an X-ray at the ballpark, then went to Columbia Presbyterian to get a CT scan and an MRI, came back, said, good news, nothing's broken. That is great news. Because if he's out for 2 or 3 months, I mean, that's just a kick in the cubes. It just is. Because this is a good team that has the ability to do great things. Later on in the game, Gleyber Torres got hit almost in the same spot. Now, do I think either of those were on purpose? No, I don't. Does that excuse it? No, it doesn't. The great Tony La Russa, the Hall of Famer, said, well, I don't care if you meant it, if it was on purpose or not, you can't hit our players. Pitchers have to know how to come in without hitting players. So, you know, there's a cottage industry in our city right now that, well, the Yankees have to drill an Oriole tonight. I have never been an advocate for hitting people, throwing at people's heads. I think it's irresponsible to call for that because you could kill somebody. But what it does come down to is this, everybody. Aaron Judge is the captain of the Yankees. Now, I would guess he's not in the lineup today. If he's in the lineup, I'd be stunned. But I would guess he's not. If Aaron Judge makes it known that the Orioles have to pay for their indiscretion, you know what? Somebody's going to have to make them pay. Now, you could say, well, Nestor Cortez pitched up and in to a couple of batters on the Orioles. He didn't hit them.
Yeah.
So that's not retribution, throwing up and in. If you miss them, you miss them. It's not getting back at your captain being hit. So the Orioles have a great young team. Again, I don't think they were doing it on purpose. I'm not calling for anybody to be hit. But I will tell you this. If Aaron Judge makes it known through channels or goes, and the guy to do it is Garrett Cole. I don't think that the umpires are going to issue any kind of warning at the beginning of the game because I don't think it got volatile yesterday. And, you know, there's a video of Alex Verdugo saying to Mountcastle, I'll kick your butt, and then point a pitcher, and then he'll be next. That was a joke. He and Mountcastle were very tight. They hadn't been for years, so he was joking around, and he smiled. But nobody on the Yankees was happy. This is the leader of the team. So if he makes it known through a coach or makes it known through Boone, somebody must pay. Then you know what? Somebody's going to pay. And that's the way baseball's played. Yeah. They police themselves. It'll be interesting to see how this goes down. But, Don and Peter, it's very important for the Yankees to win this game, or one of these two games, because they lost 3 out of 4 to the Orioles, and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox, and they want to show that they're the first team since they beat the Orioles in a series in April last year to do it again. So I don't think you throw away the game for vengeance. You keep it in the back of your mind. But I would say at some point there's probably going to be retribution. I'm not calling for it. I think it's irresponsible when people in our business do that. They wouldn't want it to happen to them. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
But I think that there is something to standing up for yourself, and great teams do that. You go back to the 86 Mets, one of the highlights of that year was the fight that they got into with the Reds when Ray Knight punched Davis and all that went on. I mean, that was the Mets were a hated team that stood up for themselves. And then you go back to that brawl in 96 with the Orioles with Darryl Strawberry going after Armando Benitez, and it's spilling into the dugout. I mean, that you remember that. And we had Darryl Strawberry on not long ago, Michael, and you know, talking about his day with the Mets, and he proudly talked about how you didn't mess with those Met teams. You didn't mess with those Yankee teams. But as time went on, Michael, I think one of the negatives you could say about the Joe Torre Yankees during their dynasty era was sometimes they looked the other way. How many times did Pedro hit Derek Jeter and nothing ever seemed to happen? Nothing seemed to come from it. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to show, hey, we stand up for each other, whether it was meant to be or not. You hit one of our best players. You could see in the replay that Yes just showed, he glared back at Suarez. I mean, obviously Judge was not happy.
Yeah, he was not happy.
So you have to stand up. Now, whether that means throwing at somebody, whether that means charging the mound at some point, whatever it is, you have to let the world know we're not going to be messed with. with. The Mets didn't stand up for Pete Alonso back in the day. That used to aggravate me that the Mets were the most hit team and nothing ever came of it. So you can win as many games as you want, Michael, but isn't there a point where you also want to show them that we're brothers and you don't mess with us? And this is a pesky Oriole team that's probably trying to show Big Brother that they're equal, and there's nothing wrong with smacking them around to let them know that you're still the New York Yankees. So I don't know how it's going to manifest itself, but I do think it should, to kind of set a tone for what this 2024 Yankee team is about.
Yesterday's game was probably a little too close to be putting people on base. I guess Cole could do it right at the beginning of the game against Henderson. Again, please, Oriole fans, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not advocating for it. But if the Yankees are intent on getting retribution, the two guys that have to watch out and walk very lightly today are Rushman and Henderson, because they're their two best players on the team. So, I saw a lot of people on social media. I looked at it after the game. Well, this was retribution for Juan Soto running into Jordan Westburg, which I think is ridiculous. Well, if you were mad at Juan Soto running into Jordan Westburg, let me think. Wouldn't you hit Juan Soto?
Right.
Why would you hit Aaron Judge? So I don't think there was any rhyme or reason to that. If you want to get Judge out, you have to pitch him up and in. But if you go too far up and in and you can't command the inside part of the plate, that's on you. Whether it's on purpose or not, that's on you. It'll be interesting to see how the Yankees react. I know the type of teammate Garrett Cole is. Does he want to hit somebody right at the beginning?
Well, not if there's...
He has not pitched in the big leagues yet?
Let's see if there are any warnings issued before the game, and if there are, and then Cole can't, because I don't think he came all the way back to throw at somebody and get kicked out of the game in the first inning.
Right.
So, but if there are no warnings issued, then there could be a little something that certainly can happen, tonight or at some point during the course of the year. It doesn't have to be right away.
Do you have the cut from Judge where he says he was ticked off?
I believe we do, yes.
Let's hear from Judge after the game.
Were you angry as far as...
Oh, definitely pissed. There was a couple balls up and in, but it's part of it. They like to throw in, so part of it.
Well, you don't have to interpret him. He said he was pissed.
Yeah.
And also, he wasn't, I don't want to over-dramatize it for those that didn't watch the game. He didn't take a move toward the pitcher, but he walked that way. And if he was somebody of a different mindset, Judge is very, very chill. He might have taken a step toward the pitcher. But he was not pleased. And again...
No, he definitively takes, 6 steps towards the pitcher, looks at him, and then starts taking off his pads and walking towards the bench.
And that's not him, Peter. So when he does something like that, I thought he was really hurt. I mean, when I was in my car, I heard that they said that it came back clean. I was thrilled as a baseball fan because I love to watch this guy play. I thought he was really hurt. I thought it was going to be a Mookie Betts situation where he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. And you hope that that's not the case. These are initial CAT scans, initial MRIs, and it shows nothing broken. Great. Let's hope it stays that way. But if he's in the lineup today, I'll be stunned. So that's something to watch. It was a good game for the Yankees, a great game for the Mets.
Now, obviously, his fingers hurt at that moment. So I wonder if that's what stopped him. Was it him just not wanting to charge the mound and he... discretion was the better part of valor, I'm just going to go to first base, or if it did not hurt as much, would he have charged them out?
I don't think that's his way.
But he did take those steps, Michael. I mean, the instincts do take over, so the initial reaction, and just maybe he just kind of calmed himself down, realized, I can't get myself suspended. It's too important. Or was it, hey, I can't get into a fight here. My finger's throbbing. Am I going to hurt it even more? I can't do that. It'd be interesting to find out. I don't know if he'll ever tell you the truth. See,
I'll maybe ask him in a quiet moment.
God, I hate that, but I think it's an interesting debate. What's the safer play? If you're upset, charge them out. Let's get into it. Let's have at it. Or hold it off and now you throw at their other guy.
Well, I think the best play for a baseball team is to keep it in your holster. And make them not dig in that hard. Make them think they're going to get thrown out at every point. And then, even if you never do it, you're accomplishing something.
Yeah, no, from a strategic standpoint. But I'm just wondering, what sends the better message? Because Marco, he's fallen in love with baseball, and he's starting to like watch. He was on YouTube watching Grand Slams from 2023. It's like, Daddy, I'm watching the Grand Slams from 2020. Like, he's starting to fall in love with the sport, which is great. And he started to go down the wormhole where he saw fights. I said, oh, you want to see a fight? I showed him the Oriole-Yankee fight with Benitez and Strawberry. Like, don't you think that set the tone for the Yankees, like, for years moving forward? I mean, Armando Benitez is a big guy, and Darryl Strawberry's chasing him into the dugout. Like, doesn't that mean more than, oh, maybe next April I'm going to throw at somebody? Now, guys get hurt in these brawls, and they do get suspended. So, listen, there's negative and positive on both ends, but I'm just wondering what sends the bigger message, don't mess with us? Garrett Cole throwing inside at somebody today, or if Judge, all like 6'9" of them, charges the mound?
I don't think he ever had an intention to charge, even if he was hurt. That's not him. I just don't see him do it. I think he'd stick up for his teammate, but I don't think he'd ever brawl. I mean, Derek Jeter never brawled. That was one of the knocks on Jeter. They had a big fight in Seattle, and Jeter and A-Rod, when they were friends, just were on the periphery laughing.
Yeah, that was a problem.
1-800-919-3776. Yankees and the Orioles tonight in Game 2 of the 3-game set. Yankees won 4-2 yesterday. Aaron Judge had to leave the game mid-game after getting hit on the left pinky. He's out of the lineup tonight, and that begs the question, is there going to be any retaliation? And it's not a clear-cut thing. We touched on this at the beginning of the show. It's not just, okay, have Garrett Cole drill Adley Rutschman or Gunnar Henderson. People should be careful when they advocate for stuff like this, because you think if the Orioles have Rutschman get hurt, or if Gunnar Henderson got hurt, that they're not going to retaliate, then all of a sudden Soto might get hurt.
So you bring up...
it spins out of control. The only way you do it is if Aaron Judge says to Garrett Cole, get him. We don't like, and John Heyman had a tweet earlier where he said the Yankees are upset. They think that the Orioles pitch up and in too much. Statistics do not bear that out, though. So that being said, it all comes down, if the Yankees are angry and Aaron Judge is an advocate for it, then you got to protect your captain. But I think it's irresponsible and willy-nilly for people in our business to just say, you got to drill somebody in the head. Yeah, okay, that's somebody's kid, somebody's father. I don't advocate drilling someone in the head. But if Aaron Judge wants them hit, then you know what? You drill them in the ribs. That's what you do. But I'm not saying that that's what they should do. It's up to the Yankees and whether or not Judge feels that they need to retaliate.
All right, so Rutschman's batting second tonight, so it would be very obvious if he got hit.
Or Gunnar is leading off.
Right, yeah, right, exactly. So one of the two get hit. It's right in the beginning of the game. Cole gets thrown out. How does that help you? Now it's a bullpen game. And now you might end up losing this series because of it. And now Cole, who's getting a chance to pitch now, has got to wait another 5 days before he gets a chance to pitch again after going through his 3 rehab starts. Also, the Baltimore Orioles don't believe they did anything wrong because they didn't intentionally hit Judge in their mind. But if Gunnar or Rutschman get hit, everybody's going to know it was intentional. So now the Orioles might say, well, now I got to get my pound of flesh. And now Soto gets hit, and then maybe he doesn't recover from getting hit. So it is very careful. You got to be very strategic. I believe the Yankees have to stand up for themselves, but they've got to be smart about it.
All right, now we will now seamlessly transition to the Met recap on 98.7 ESPN, driven by Ramsey Mazda.